What's up, YouTube? This is Calvin Bond from Bond Trucking, coming to y'all with another video. This video is just a part of trucking. The first half of this week, everything tried to happen. Everything tried to happen to me. I don't know, but I'm gonna start from the beginning and just let y'all know what I went through so far. I started Friday. I did okay last week, so I picked a load up Friday to run it through the weekend so I can start my week off right. I picked this load up in Muskogee, Oklahoma. I have a video that's coming out on that too. So I picked that load up. I went to try to pick the load up. I got there about 8:30. When I got there, it was a lot of people there, so I had to wait in line. So when I finally got to the dock, I backed up to the dock. I swept my trailer out, and one of the tow motor drivers came in with me and said, "There's water on your flow, your trailer is leaking, so I'm gonna refuse your trailer. I'm gonna deny your trailer." So I had to end up going to a trailer repair shop. When I got to the trailer repair shop, it was a quick in and out. One of the rivets had broke on the ceiling part of the trailer. So he put a sealant on it, sealed it up, and gave me a receipt so I can take it back to the shipper. So I got back there, and I couldn't get in at first because it was a lot of Warner drivers there. This right here was a Owens glass company. They did glass bottles. I was taking it to Campbell in Napoleon, Ohio. So I finally get to go back to the dock the second time, and I dropped my trailer in the dock because it's like a hill in front of the docks. So I was watching the Warner drivers. They was hitting the hill and tearing their bumpers up and everything. So I finally got in there. So I went on and dropped my trailer because I didn't want nobody to hit me. So I dropped my trailer. I parked over there in the corner, and one of the yard jockeys came to me and said, "Hey man, you got to get that trailer out because you don't supposed to drop a trailer in our docks, and they're refusing your trailer again. They need to talk to you." So I walked back in the office, and they said, "Well, we see light coming from the floor of the trailer." Now keep in mind, this is a 6'7" trailer. At JB Hunt, there are newer trailers. So they show it to me. They was right, and they told me, "Don't bring this trailer back. We refused this trailer the second time, and we don't want this trailer back here." So now I have to take the trailer back to the repair shop and figure it out. So I get back to the repair shop, and the repair people say, they told me, they was like, "So who is keep rejecting you? Georgia Pacific across the street?" So they gave me an idea. Like, I was like, "No, it was Owens, but let me drop this trailer and I'm gonna go over there and grab one, and I'll just come back and get this trailer and take it to Georgia Pacific." So by now it's 2:30, 2:30. It was almost 2:30, and they stopped loading and unloading at 2:30. So when I finally went into Georgia Pacific, it was a long line, and got out of there, I got another JB Hunt driver. Shout out to him. He let me cut in front of him so I can go to the yard. I didn't have to do no paperwork or nothing. So I ended up grabbing another trailer, another 6'7" trailer. So I get back there about 3 o'clock. Now keep in mind, he told me that 2:30 I can't. That's when they stop unloading. So when I get there, he looks at me and started laughing, and he was like, "Well, you know we stopped at 2:30. Why did you even come back?" So I talked him into it, into loading me. So that ended up coming out as a okay deal, even though I was running back and forth from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock. I didn't get out of there till like 4:30. And all of this is free. Everything I'm telling you is free right now. So I finally talked him into loading me. It didn't take him no time to load me. So he loaded me and I took off towards Napoleon. Saturday, I had a little bit more fuel, so I tried to run as much as I can, and then so I can end my day at an approved truck stop and empty. So when Sunday got here, I ended up taking Sunday off, and I dropped the load off on Monday. So when I finally dropped that load off, when I was pulling into the Campbell and Napoleon, my red engine light popped on, and it said that gave me 60 seconds to park before it automatically shut off on me. So I don't know what's going on. I did my pre-trip, everything was fine the morning before, and the post-trip I did that night. So I pulled in and I hurried up and got on the line, and the truck cut off on me. And I'm smoking. I mean, it's smoke everywhere. So I opened up my hood, and when I opened up my hood, one of my hoses on my coolant on my reservoir had popped off. It's coolant everywhere, it's spraying everywhere. So the people at Campbell told me that I had to get out of line and I could not drop that trailer. And so what I done was they let me do a U-turn and park on the side. And I parked on the side, I fixed the hose myself, and then I filled it back up with water. I didn't have any more coolant. I didn't have enough coolant because it was all the way empty. And I didn't have enough coolant in my side box to fill it all the way up. But it's summertime, and I was only gonna go to the dealership to see what the problem is and get them to do everything they gotta do. Refill it up with 50-50. So I finally get the hose on there, and I finally get the load in there. So that means that I automatically got paid for that load. After I got the load in there, dropped it off, did my unloaded call, everything. So as I'm pulling out, I hear the belt break. Now, if you ever been to Napoleon, the Campbell and Napoleon, you know that coming out of there is not a side if you're turning left, and I had to turn left. So I ended up on the opposite side of the road in the turning lane, broke down. So I walked back up to the guard shack to get them to see if they can get the yard jockey to pull the trailer back into their yard, because I just pulled out with it. And they told me, no, we can't do that. We don't allow them to come out of our yard. So if you can't get it in there yourself, then we go get it towed. Right now, my truck is hot. I mean, it's up close to 250. And you know, you get in the red at 225. So I sat there for like 5 hours. I let it get all the way cold. And I bagged all the way back to the line so I can get back in to the guard shack. And I got it in, and by the time I was coming back out, it was getting hot again. So I pulled back in the opposite side in the lane, and I called my tow truck, and I got the tow truck to come and everything. I got a video on all this stuff too, so check that out. The video is coming on YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed to me, if you haven't followed me on Instagram, I put all of my little clips on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram is Bond Trucking 17, and my Facebook is Bond Trucking. So I normally put little clips on there. So when the tow truck driver came, he asked me, what did you want? Do you want to get pulled from the front or the back? He said, if I pull you from the front, he said that I have to take your drive axle out, and if I pull you from the back, then I have to tie your fairings down. And I said, well, it's cool whichever way, as long as you don't break my fairings. Whichever is best for you to get us there. Because I done sat there for like 7 hours. By the time he got there, I was just ready to go. So he ended up pulling me from the front and pulled my drive axles. Pulled my drive axle. And we get to the dealership, and they tell me, oh, you got like 3 or 4 recalls on your truck, and we can't let your truck go until we do it, and we can't touch your truck until tomorrow. Now, they haven't even told me nothing about the belt yet. So now I'm waiting on them, and they tell me, well, you have to get a hotel because we finna close it. We close at 12. So I ended up getting a hotel. Everything was cool on that. One of the techs drove me to the hotel, so I was okay with that. And I got a late checkout. And I called them, and they said, well, we done with everything, but it's at the body shop because the 4th recall is a body shop issue, and they're checking and see if your bed have cracks in it, because if it do, then it's gonna take them a while to get that done, a couple of days or so. So I'm taking the shuttle back to the dealership, and I'm praying, like, I hope that I got a new truck, so I'm hoping that ain't nothing cracked. But that's the reason why they're changing out. They was changing out the bracket that holds the bed to the frame. So when I get there, my truck is out. It's in front of one of the bays. So I'm like, well, maybe they done. So I go back to the office, and they was like, oh yeah, well, we haven't checked the truck in yet, so we go check the truck in, and then we'll let you know. So I told them I'd be in the waiting room. So like 4 hours passed, and I'm thinking like, well, they should have told me something. So I gets back, and I go back to the office, and they was like, well, let me check with the tech. So we walked out there and checked with the tech, and the tech was like, I've been done with this truck. It didn't take me number like 30-45 minutes to do the truck, but I didn't know he was waiting, so I never said anything. I just pulled it out. I was gonna put it out in the yard until, you know, somebody come and get it. So I finally get out of the dealership. I grabbed my truck, and I grabbed a load, and I took off with it. So as I was going to get the load, they told me, well, you can't, the load was preloaded. So I just had to pick up a loaded trailer. So they go tell me, well, you can't bobtail in there. So now I got to turn around, and I got to run around and look for a trailer. So I finally got ready to look for a trailer. I done went to Target DC, Walmart DC, and they tell me, well, we got permission for you to pick it up. You bobtail in there and pick it up. So I bobtail in there and pick it up. And then I noticed that the load said that it was 179 miles, but my GPS telling me it's 490 miles. So I'm looking, and I'm looking at it. So I found out that my GPS was telling me the right miles, so I take off running with it. The second load, my first load paid $1,000 that I pushed over because I wanted to be in the green by Monday. So after fuel, I ended up like $780 off that load. So I ended up not being in the green, but I knew that I didn't have nothing but maybe $150, $200 or something to get me in the green. So I could have did that Monday to Tuesday. So I was cool with that because that got me ahead. But going to the dealership and everything, it was actually a good thing because now I'm behind. I'm not all the way behind, but I'm getting there. So I drive the 450 miles and the 490 miles, and as I'm coming towards it, my dispatcher keeps sending me messages saying, why are you going further and further away from the load? So I look, I pulls over, looks and looked at the messages that he sent me. And then I sent him a message back, and I was like, well, the destination is that y'all put on the app was wrong. So he looks at it, he was like, oh man, the appointment is wrong too. So I'm like, okay. So now I'm in Mechanicsburg, PA. They denied me because they said that my appointment was at 8 o'clock, but JB Hunt said my appointment was at 4 o'clock. I got there at like 3:30. So now I'm sitting here. I've been sitting here. Today is Thursday. I've been sitting here since yesterday, and they still haven't did anything. I'm just sitting here. They saying that they get no response, but the receiver is telling me that only thing they have to do is go on there. So this is the end of this story. Sorry that it's long. It's just a part of trucking, and this stuff do happens more than you really want it to. I'm out.